once again. I hope you all are pretty clear with the concepts now. Am I clearly audible and visible to you all? Please let me know in the comments. Okay, yes. Okay. What about the voice today? Like, is it fine now? Is it fine today? Okay. What is lagging, the video or the audio? I think it's fine. The audio is lagging? To only one person, it's lagging. Is my audio fine now? Shall I start the session? Yes. Okay, 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 okay. There are audience on YouTube and on Zoom as well, so I will be reading chats on both the platforms. So yeah, today is the final day of HTML and CSS Bootcamp, and I can already see the hype about the homework. I was reading the comments. So before we start, I want any one of you to volunteer and show if they have made anything. I gave you 2 tasks. Let me share my screen very quickly. Okay. Okay, is my screen visible to you now? Is my screen visible to everyone? Just a second, I will quickly arrange everything. Yeah, let me open the chats. Okay. Yeah, we will be making a web page today. Is my screen visible to you clearly? Please let me know in the comments, in the chats. Okay, it's visible. Okay. So yeah, I gave you 2 tasks. The first one was, let me show this table. The first one was this table, and the second one was this form, Instagram login page. Were you able to make it? Is there anyone who wants to show it to me? I would love to give them a shout out. Is there anyone volunteers to show it? Yeah, I'm checking. Yeah, I'm checking the comments. I'll repeat. Is there anyone who wants to show if they tried making this table or this login page? If you want, that's your choice, obviously. People are saying yes on YouTube. How do I add you on YouTube on a video chat? You can join Zoom. Okay, Veeramala wants to show, I guess. Santosh wants to show. Utsav wants to show. Okay, great. I would ask the team to unmute any one of you so that we can connect live. Aniket also wants to show. Great. Okay, let's take somebody on live. Just a second, I will unmute. Okay, whom should I unmute first? Okay, Lalit, I have requested you to unmute your mic. Can you do that? Hello. Yes, Lalit, don't you want to show the work? Let's wait if somebody else wants to show, or I will start the session. Lokesh wants to show. Okay. Yeah, you all can raise your hands if you want. Shivain. Okay, hmm.
Hello.
Okay, Shivain, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine.
Okay, it's always very appreciable if you're the first one to start something. So yeah, clap
Thank
for
you, ma'am.
that.
Thank you.
Did you try what I gave you yesterday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you want to share your screen, you can. I can stop sharing.
Okay,
You
ma'am.
can share
Sure.
your screen and show.
Oh, I have sent the request. Please accept for sharing my
Hmm,
screen.
Let me wait. I have not received any request as of now. Has that been accepted, Shivain?
Yes. Now it's
Okay. Okay, you can share the screen.
uh, so I have not created the table yet, but I have created the Instagram login page.
Okay,
So,
great. No problem. At least you
so
started.
for, okay. Thank you. I'm sharing my screen and I
Okay.
see.
It's
So,
visible. It's visible.
is it visible now?
Yeah, have you used Bootstrap here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Bootstrap used here, and
Okay.
this is my CSS,
Mhm.
and this is how my page looks like.
Great. It looks exactly similar.
I have used some of the YouTube tutorials to create this at
Okay.
some point.
Okay. Would you like to
And
share how you managed to draw these horizontal lines and in between you placed or
and this one, ma'am, I have used padding and all.
you had
Padding.
used
Yes,
padding?
ma'am.
Okay, great,
Padding.
great. It looks exactly similar. That's appreciable. Great work. Is there any
Okay.
doubt from yesterday's session that you want to ask?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great, great talking to you, Shireen. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And you created, I liked it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone who wants to show? Or I can start with the session because it's already 15 minutes. Anyone who wants to show? Please raise your hands. Waiting for 10 more seconds or I'll start with the session. And Shireen, shout out to you. You created a really, really good page. Okay, let's start the session. We can interact later if you all want, okay? You can raise hands. Let's start with today's session. And the first topic that I will be teaching today is margin and padding. Let's do that. Okay, do you see my screen? Okay, oh, I haven't shared the screen. Just a second. Can you see my screen now? Okay, yes. Okay, thank you. Now, margin and padding is a concept in CSS when you want to give any div or any container a space from its parent. You want to, for example, let's say, also I have shared the code for the first day, second day, and today's also. I have created a repository in GitHub. You will get the link in the all-in-one documentation. We have put it there. You can get all the code of the 3 days there, okay? Yeah. So let's create margin.html. So let's create a div with class div1 and say I am the div. Should I zoom in a bit? Yeah, I will. I hope it's clear now. Okay, so let's give some style to this div dot div1 and let's give it height 200 pixel. Height 200 pixels, width 200 pixels, and color yellow, background color green. Okay. Any problem so far? Let's open it with the live server. And there you go. Here is our div. Now, what if I want this content? People are in the waiting room. Okay. What if I want this content to be placed a bit farther from the left border, right? I want it to be a bit farther. So what will I use? This is where margin and padding comes in handy. Now, if you are able to see my screen and you are able to see this screen, there is a concept of margin and padding, and people get confused what margin is, what padding is. So in the center goes the content. In the center goes the content. Now, out of the content, we always have a border. We always have a border. So if I give this content padding, it will take it from inside the border. If I give it some padding, it will consider that padding from inside its border. If I give it margin, it will consider that margin from outside the border and with respect to its parent. So if I make a parent div out of this and I give some margin to this div, it will take that margin from outside the border. Its border is this, from outside the border, from its parent. I hope it's clear. We will now see an example. So it was div, right? Let's comment this out. I hope it's clear. Now I will say div dot parent. Okay. This is the parent div. And inside of this div, I say div dot child. Parent and child. And then say observe me. Okay. This says observe me. Okay. It says observe me. Now to the parent, we will give some height. Let's copy this one. Okay. All these features. 200 pixel height with color in this, and to the child we will give the same properties but different height. 50% height, let's give it 50% width, color I will give it blue, and the background color I would give it this shade of pink. Okay, let's see what we have created. In this page. Okay, this is what we have created. Is it visible? The repository link is shared in the all-in-one documentation too. Whoever is asking, where is the GitHub link? It is there in the documentation. Is this clear? The screen? Yes, okay. So this is the child, this is the parent. Green one is the parent, purple one is the child. Now just observe what happens if I give it a feature, a property. To the child, I will give the property padding top. Let's say padding top. I will give it a padding top of 220 pixels. So it will take some space from the top. The confusion starts when you think from where? The space from inside the border or space from the parent, from the page? So let's see what happens. This observe me has shifted below, right? That means now let me give it a border. Let me give the child element a border. 2 pixels solid white. Let's give it a white border. Now you see, okay, white camouflages in the white. Let's give it a red border. Okay, now you know. So it took space from inside the border when I gave it a padding. Now if I give it a margin top, I give it, let's say 50 pixels. 50 pixels, okay? Now it will take margin from the parent element. Any doubt so far? When I gave it padding, it took padding from the, this is 100%, okay? This looks so huge, but 200 pixel is really small. Okay, so when we gave it padding from top, it took from inside the border. When we gave it margin, it took it from outside the border. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Yes, okay, okay, thank you. YouTube. Yeah, I have shared the file. Ajay, I have shared the file in the all-in-one documentation. Okay, let's do the next topic. Very important topic. Okay, yeah, one more thing I wanted to share. If you want to give margin top, margin bottom, margin left, etc., there are so like 4 types: bottom, top, left, and right. So what you can do is you can directly give this a property margin, and you can give 4 values like 20 pixel, 30 pixel, 60 pixel, and 10 pixels. Now, what is this supposed to mean? This means it will take margin from this 20 is for top, 30 from the right, 60 from the bottom, and 10 from the left. Okay, clear? Now, because it's quite typical to remember, so what I did, what I used as a trick to remember this is move clockwise. When you move clockwise, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Similarly, top, right, bottom, and left. So when you give 4 values, it will consider as top, right, bottom, and left. If you give 3 values, the first and last values are for top and bottom. The central 2 values are for left and right. I hope I'm clear. Okay, Dheeraj did not get the padding concept. Dheeraj, padding is inside the border. When I gave this observe me, this div, this child div, when I gave this padding, the content moved to bottom. Like I gave this padding top. So it took the 20 pixels from the top, but inside the border, not from outside the border. That's the difference. I hope it's clear now. Let's move on to the next topic, very important topic, which is, I think, the base of creating websites. Flex.html. Basically, flex properties. Display properties भी कहते हैं basically इनको. Okay, I will explain it very easily, like no complexities at all. Flex is, let's say flex gives an element the power to align its children as its own will. Let that statement sink in once again. If I give an element or a div flex property, display flex, I am giving that element the power that now you can decide how you want your children divs to be aligned, row wise, column wise, size wise, etc. Is this clear? Is this statement clear? What is flex property? Yes, okay. Yeah, flex property gives power to the elements. to one element so that it can align its children elements in whatever way it wants, like whatever way we will tell it to. Okay? Yes, okay. Okay, I got it. You all got it, I guess. Let's see this how. I will create a parent div with a parent class, and I will write inside it, I am the parent. Is it not necessary? It is not necessary, but okay, I have written. Now I will create inside of this three child divs, okay? Or only one. Let's say abhi ke liye only one, so that you know what the meaning of flex is. Div dot child. Okay, I am the child, and let's copy the properties from this because it's not easy to type again and again. Parent and child. Any doubt so far? Okay, I just said, people have doubt what I said. I just said flex property gives the parent element the power to align its items as we want them to be aligned. I will just show it with an example, okay? So parent and child, let's go live and see how it looks. So this is how the parent looks. This is how the child looks. We have to remove the padding and margin for now, okay? I hope it's normal now. Yeah, I'm the parent, I'm the div. Let's remove this parent thing. This is not required. So inside the parent div, I have put a child. Now let's see magic. I will give this parent div the power to change the position of its child. How will I do it? I will say display flex. Now flex is flexibility. I'm giving it the flexibility to change the position of its children elements. Clear? I'm going really slow. I hope you are getting my point, because this is where the logic comes in. When you will create websites, you have to work with divs again and again and again. We will create this web page today. We will try to create this because as I said, we will create. Don't I have the picture? This picture. I will try to create at least the structure. I will tell you how to create this. Inside the features you can add. I have taught you that much. So yeah, now I gave this parent the power to change the position of its child. Let's say, now let's try to change the position. Parent will operate the child now. I will not make any changes to this. I will not give this any padding, any margin, but still I will change its position. See how? So I gave it the property display flex. Now I will give it another property, align items center. I told the parent div that align every item that you have, means every child that you have, align it in the center. The parent div will align it in the center. Did I give any padding or margin to this child? I did not, but still the parent div aligned it in the center. This is how you operate another div using the parent div. This is the foundation of web development. Please understand it. Are you all getting it? Please let me know in the comments. Okay, yes, thank you. Now let's see some other properties of display flex. Please, what mistake I used to make as a beginner was I sometimes used to forget that, okay, display flex, because it's something you can forget because it has no feature, right? You will directly write align items center, justify content center, and other properties. But the problem is always you have to write display flex. This is the only statement which will give the power to align its item, okay? And no display property will work if you do not use this, okay? So please make sure you use this. Now display flex align items, we have justify content. I will justify the content to flex end, flex start, left, right. I will justify it to the center. Now if you see, align items to the center was, it just aligned it to the center, but it was in the left. Now justify content, what will it do? It will take that element to the center of the div, to the parent, exact center of the parent. Okay. Now let's say, I think these three properties are the main properties of Flex. Let's start, when we will start creating web page now, I will explain more properties as much as we will require while creating. Am I clear till now? Yeah, justify contents makes vertical changes. Okay, I'm clear. Okay. Let's now move further. What was the third topic for today? Yeah, there are two topics, media queries and animations. I mentioned it yesterday. It is something you can explore on your own, but I will explain it right now. I have already written the code. I will be explaining the code and showing you the output so that we can finally move to the development of the landing page that I showed. So here is animation. So what is animation? If you can tell me on chats, what do you understand by animation on a website? What do you understand by animation? Basic, what is an animation according to you? For interactive UI, very good. But what is an animation? Adding pictures and locomotive text, very nice term. Basically, when any element on the screen is moving as per your choice, you are giving it time, you are giving it for how long you want that div to move or the element to move. So basically, yeah, making your website dynamics and appealing. It will make your websites look great. Moving things. Yeah, good, great. So let's see how you add animations in CSS. So I've already created the code, but this looks complex, but it is not. What I have done is to the entire body, that means to the entire page. If you don't want to use this body, you can, what can you use? This asterisk and this, I have told you earlier, this is universal selector. Then I have to the body tag, because body tag means the entire body tag, and everything that you on this see on the screen is inside the body tag, right? So to the body, I've been margin 0 because by default it takes some margin padding, and I do not want that. So I said margin 0, padding 0. I to the page, I gave the power to align its items. Display flex, you don't every time use this property in the body tag. Today I have used because I'm showing just the animations part, so I want the divs to be at the center so that it's visible to you. That's the only reason. The sole reason I use display flex on the body. You do not use it because it will create a mess for other elements as well. Okay, so display flex, justify content center, it basically will take every element to the center of the screen so that you can see the divs moving. I want to show you the animation, nothing else. This is basic CSS that I have already taught you. Then I made a box. This is the code. There's nothing, just a simple div with a class box. Everything that we are doing today in the animation is about CSS. There's no HTML you can see, only a simple div with the text observe me, because you will observe that div, and a class box. Let's see how we create animation, how we make that div move from left to right. Basic animation that I have shown. Also, I will share some websites with you wherein you can find inbuilt, like already built up animation. Then you just have to copy the code, but you should know how it's created. Okay. Okay, so yeah, to the box I have given some width, height, position. Okay, this is where, let's move this below so that you can start. These three properties we are already aware. I have given 100 pixel height to height and width to the div, which is inside the body. Okay, I could have created a parent. I just did it in the body only. So now the parent is the body tag. Now, the common mistakes that you all make, I want to make you aware of that. We always put animations straight away. One thing you forget is without this property, position absolute, the animations do not work sometimes. And the sole animation that will never work without this property is when you want to when you want your div to move from left to right. What is the reason? Because, say for example, I tell you that, okay, you are standing on the left side of the room. Okay, you are standing on the left side of the room, and I tell you, stand at such a position that you are 30 meters away from the right wall. Okay, I will explain it to you by drawing this. This is very important. This is the most common mistake we all make. I used to sit for 2-3 hours just figuring out what I did wrong because it doesn't seem wrong when you do it. So basically, this is a wall. Let's be practical. You are standing here, okay? Now I tell you, stand in such a position that you are 50 meters away from the left, so from the right wall. Do you think this is possible without actually going to the right wall first? Will you be ever will you ever be able to do this without actually going to the right wall first and then figuring out 50-meter away from that wall? Is that possible? Yeah, I'm reading your chats. Please let me know. Yeah, it's not possible. Anybody else? I will repeat the situation here. This is what happens with the div also, right? I am telling you to stand in such a position that you are 50 meters away from the right wall, but you are on the left wall. You cannot do this unless you actually go to the right wall first and then figure out 50 meters away from that wall, right? How will my div know when I will give this an animation that move 20 pixels from right? It will ask me will have to go to the right position first, okay? Because I have not given any position to that div so far. उसकी कोई position अभी तक set ही नहीं है, तो वो किसके हिसाब से 20 pixels लेगा? So this is very important. Position absolute attribute is very important so that my div is now has a position on the screen. What is the position? 0 pixel, which I gave it on the left corner. I hope it's clear. Let's move on to the animation part. So these are the basic, there are so many features in animation, there are so many attributes that you can use. I also told this yesterday that in CSS there are infinite features. This is the reason why you see attractive websites. So I will explain the basic 4 features that you use in order to make your animation work. The first one is animation name. You have to give an animation a name, and the sole reason is you will be using a lot of animations in your websites. So when you call these animations below at keyframes, this is how you call an animation and tell it what to do. So you have to give an animation name in order to make that animation, to call that animation and tell it what to do. I hope it's clear. Am I clear so far? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. Now I gave this a name, move right. That means I will call this animation with its name, move right. Then I will give it a duration. Now, what is animation? When any div or an element moves on the screen, right? So I will be giving that div some time that, okay, you have to complete one round of this animation, one round of whatever movement I'm giving you, you have to complete it in 3 seconds. This is what I said here. I gave it duration, which means I will tell it you have to move from left and right or top or bottom, or you have to move in circular motion. Whatever you give it, you have to complete one rotation, one clock of that animation in 3 seconds. I hope it's clear. There is another property that you can use, animation delay, which is basically when you want the animation to at least start after some time so that the user can scroll to that page to see the animation. So basically, sometimes it's a 3 seconds animation, and this website loads. Animation has stopped after once. After once, it has stopped. Now the user could not see the animation because he scrolled after 5 seconds. So you can give it a delay. Like animation should start after 3 seconds. That is animation delay you can add. The third property is animation timing function. Basically, this is to give a movement to the animation, like how you want your div to animate. Ease in and out, ease out in. There are so many you can explore. How you can explore this? Just remove this. Just do this. There are so many. Apne aap, just do it when you're free. Explore every type of animation here. Ease out, ease in, linear. Linear is straight, okay? Steps, unset, everything. So please explore it on your own. There are a lot of functions. So I have just used ease in out simply. Then animation iteration count infinite. Now this is the count of the animation. How many cycles of animation you want in your page? I want my div to move infinitely. As long as the person is on the website, I want my div to move, keep moving. So infinite, or you can give numbers here. So these 4 functions are enough for you to show an animation on the screen. Now, you can also use it directly like this. I have commented this out because I wanted you to see it separately. Animation name, duration, what timing function you want, and the what iteration count you want for the cycle. You can put it straight away. Okay. Now I have given a name, I have given the qualities I want in an animation, but I have not still given what type of movement I want. Is it still given? No. Let's give that. YouTube chats. Okay, there's some certificate discussion going on. Let's leave it to the team. I think we can continue. Okay. So now I will call my animation by the name that I gave it, and I will tell it how to move in this on the screen. So using at keyframes, I will call my animation at keyframes. The animation name was move right. So now I'm talking about this animation. Now in this animation, also I gave this name to the element with the class box. That means I am giving animation to some element which has a class named box. Okay. Now, yeah, add keyframes, move right. Now, what is this? This is something unique. 0%, that means whatever the time I gave it to the animation, so 0% of that time, at 0% of that time, I want the div to start from zero position, left 0. That means there should not be any space left on the left side, okay? From left 0, this is my start position. This is what I've written for you. This is my start position, left edge of the screen, okay? Then after 50% of the duration that I gave it for one animation to complete, which is 3 seconds, after 50% of the duration, my div has to move to 80% from the left, move to 80% from the left. Now this would not have worked if I would have forgotten about the position absolute, because now my div would have asked me that from where should I move? I have to move to the right first. So yeah, this is how position absolute is necessary. So after 50% of the completion of the animation, it should take 80% from the left. And after at 100%, it should take again 0 from the left. That means going from left to 80% and then 0, left to 80% and then 0. And because I just gave it 3 seconds, it will be very fast. So let's see the output. Are you all able to see the output? Are you all able to see the output? Yes, yes, okay. So this is how my animation is working. I gave it 80%, so it's only going till the 80% of the width, entire width. And if I show it to you live, that position absolute is so necessary, I can show it. If I remove this property, my div gets confused because it doesn't have an absolute position and it will be at the center by default, which I gave it display flex. To the body, I gave it the power display flex align item center. So it aligned its item at the center, but the green box, which has the class box, it is now confused because it cannot take zero property from the left before actually going to the left, right? So this property is necessary while using animation. I used to get confused, so I don't want you to get confused. Okay. I hope animation is clear. I hope animation is clear. Please let me know in the comments. Yes, mission success. Hmm. Clear? Yeah, okay. There are, okay, I am lagging in the Zoom chat. Okay, yes. Okay, great. Let's move on to the last topic for CSS and then we will directly jump onto the web page because today is the last day. I want you to start creating web pages as soon as possible. Media query, very important. So yesterday I showed you something. Let's go to media query. Okay, let's create a new file first. I want to show you something. Say responsive, okay? Okay, responsive.html. Let's create a div with class div1 and I am div, and in the style tag, okay, position absolute, people are asking to repeat. Position absolute means now I have given that element an absolute position on the screen. It's fixed. So now it knows that my fixed position is at the center. If you see in the animation thing, this div, green wala, it's moving constantly. It was at the center, right? So now it had this position. Okay, my position is fixed. I will be at the center. So now if I ask it to move, it can move. It knows its position now. It's fixed, okay? The second thing is there are two types of more positions. Position relative. So basically position relative means you have to take position with respect to your parent. That means if the parent's position is fixed, the element will be fixed with respect to the parent. And then there comes the concept of z-index. Actually, there are a lot of features in CSS. It's not humanly possible to cover all, but z-index, okay, it's important. You might use it sometimes. Z-index is nothing but the pages, like the pages of a book. The higher the z-index you give to a div, I will repeat again, the higher the z-index that you will give to a div, the the priority will be the more, like, okay, let's do this. Let's create dot div 2 and div dot div 3. Okay, I am div 2. If you have asked, I'll explain this one. Div 3. Now I have to give some properties. So to the parent div, which is div 1, let's say I give some height 500 pixels, some width 200 pixel, 200 pixel, and color yellow. Okay, and then to div 2, I give color blue and what else? Height 50% and width again 50%. Do you have any doubts? Yeah, some people already know about z-index. Good. Div 2 and to div 3, I will give the same properties. I will give the same width and height so that you know the difference. Just a different color. I think a shade of green. Not color. I want to give it a background color, blue, and this also background color. Okay, now let's see. Okay, have I not started it in the live server? Did I give blue color to the entire div? To div 2. Height 50%, width 50%. Okay, okay. I think we gave the same color. Let's give some background color to this div. Okay, this is the div. This is div 2. This is div 3. Now, what is happening here? Can anybody tell me? I gave the same height and width to both the divs, okay? I gave the same height and width to both the divs. They should be of equal size. Why are not they of the equal size? I'm waiting for you to try answering. I gave same height and width to both the child divs, but they were not looking similar on screen. Why? Yeah, I think nobody has got it. I will explain. I am given line. No, not the line missing. Yes, great. Vishal got it. So this div 3 is not the child of div 1 directly. This div 3 is the sub-child of div 1. So it's taking the 50% height of div 2. So I have to move this out of div 2. Okay, I hope you got it. Yeah. Yes, great. So now they will look similar. Okay, now they will look similar. And I think I've zoomed in, yeah, a lot. This is how it actually looks like. I will zoom in a bit for you. Now there is this thing. I want div 3 to be on top of div 2. Okay, so I will give this a Z index. I will give this a Z index, say 5. Okay, and I will give this position absolute, or relative will also work. Okay, it just took the entire space. No, not absolute. It will take the entire space. I think here is when the relative position would come in handy. Now to div 2, I will give a lesser Z index. I will give it 0. Or I will give it 1 because 0 is by default of the parent, okay? 0 is by default of the parent. I will give this position 1, this position, and to the parent, I will say position, not inherit, position relative, so that it can organize its elements. Is my screen lagging? Organize its elements. Okay. Div 2, and now I gave it to div 3, div 2 Z index 1. Okay, Z index to this also. Z index 0. And div 2, div 3. Now div 3 is supposed to be on top. It is not. Let's remove this position for now. Not working. Let's say I gave this position inherit. Still not top. Okay. Let's figure it out. I give position relative to div 1. I give Z index 0 to div 1. Div 2, Z index 1. Div 3, Z index 5. Let's give this a position absolute once again. And to this also. Position absolute. Sorry. Let's try. Yeah, it worked now. So, okay, this is something I missed. You have to use position absolute for both the elements and position relative for the parent. The reason is, please listen it carefully. The div1 was the parent of both the children, div2 and div3. Now div1 has to have a position relative so that it can align its child elements who are given position absolute. Now when I give position absolute to its children, they will now know, okay, I have to stay fixed with respect to my parent, and the parent has got position relative. Now to the parent I gave z index 0. Also parent can never be on top of children, so even if you try to give this a maximum z index, then all the children, it will still not be on top. So that is by default a thing. But to div2 I gave z index 1, and to div3 I gave z index 5. Both had, same height and width. So now div3 is above div2 because it can, because I gave it a z index, just like the pages of a book. I hope it's clear. Is that clear? Yeah, I will share the entire code. So now if I give div2 10 z index, it will come on top of div3. Am I clear? Okay, Suraj has got it. Yes, we used relative to the parent. The sole reason is because now parent is supposed to align its items. In the keyframes in animations is used to actually tell what are you going to do in the animation, what type of movement you want. In the class definition, you already told it the animation name, the duration, the delay that you want, but where is the type of movement that you are telling your editor to make in that specific div? That type of movement you put inside the keyframes, okay, wherein you put the keyframes, like at 0% of the time that I gave, this should happen. But after the 50% of those 3 seconds are done, just move that div to the 50% from left. This is what you tell inside the keyframes. Okay, how to align? Just a second, chats. How to align div2 and div side by side? Yes, I can tell you. So basically, the display flex property is what we use here. See, let's give some more height to div1 first, okay? I will give the 50 VH and I will give it width as 600 pixels. REM is also used in case of pixels, okay? REM. That's it, I guess. Now it will look fine. Now I will zoom out to the actual size, and this Alice blue color, I think it's visible quite less in my display, so I'll change it. This should be the background color. That gray. No, I want a darker shade. Yeah. Okay, fine. Now, what was your doubt? Okay, you wanted to align the elements. Okay, let's do that. Sorry. Let's remove these properties first. Okay, now these are my two divs. So first of all, I want to give the power. I will have to give the power to my parent element that, okay, now you have to align these elements. So I will give this the power. How do I do this? Display flexibility. Okay, now I will say it. Please justify your contents. Please justify your contents. Please justify contents. Flex in, flex start. No, let's base it on stable. Okay. This will justify it. Let's say align items. And let's say I will align the items at no, not this one. I think flex start. Justify content ही होता है वो row wise. एक second. I have not been in practice of CSS for long. space around, space between, space. These I will be using, but yeah, it's done. So what I used, this is not necessary. This is not it. There's another property which I'm trying to remember. I'm not able to recall it. I will tell you shortly. We will be using that in the web page abhi also. So yeah, what I did is I gave it the power display flex, and I told it, please justify your contents space around. So they have to take equal space from around, or you can also say justify content space between. So it will just align. Abhi it's not giving any space because I have given 50% to all the elements. If I give, I can show you. If I give 20%, 20% height and 20% width, now you will see the difference. See, space between, they are aligned in such a way that there is equal space in between them. And if I say space around, they will be aligned in such a way that there is equal space around the divs. Okay. Is that clear? Align item center. Yeah, it will align the items at the center. Any doubts? Okay, clear. Okay, this was display property. What was I? I was on which topic? Yeah, I was telling you about media query now. So position relative आ गया था बीच में. Let's do media query now. So basically, I will create a div and I will give it, say, class name class 1. And I will say I will write a lot of content in it, about 500 words. Now format document. Okay, and then I go here, I say to class 1, I will give very say small height. Okay. I will give height as 50 VH, the screen's 50% height, and width as, say, 800 pixels. Okay. Yeah, you have to give absolute to the child so that it can take position as with respect to the parents. Yeah, that was the property I was missing. Utpal, thank you. Flex direction was the property. Okay, you can use that also. Flex direction row. That was the property I missed. Thank you. Okay, height and width I gave it. Let's see on live how it looks. Okay, let's give it some color and background color. Okay, in 5 minutes, I think we will start doing the web page thing. Background color is yellow and let's give it some border. 2 pixel solid black. Okay. So this is my div. Oh, the content is overflowing. This is also a property. Overflow hidden or overflow scroll. There are so many properties. Overflow, you can say scroll. So when the div is being overflowed, it will give it a scroll bar. Okay, you can add these properties also. That's why I said in CSS there are a lot of features. Most used and important features that you might need to know while you start developing web pages. I have covered all. This is what I kept in mind. Okay, so yeah, scroll. There are so many features. Scroll, hidden, you can also hide if if the content is overflowing. But abhi ke liye, I do not want this. This is what I want to show you, that what a responsive web design is. Okay, and let's decrease the size of the words so that it fits in perfectly. Okay, so now for my laptop, it's working fine. But as soon as I inspect it and I check it for a smaller screen size, oh, what happened? The content came out of the screen of the div. And would you like such a website which works fine on your laptop, but that does not look fine on the phone? You would never want that, right? There's a very known website, I think Savannah or Urbanic something. So when I was scrolling through my phone, it was perfect. I think it's new me. It was perfect. But when I opened it on my laptop, it still looks like it is on a phone screen, like this small. The entire side parts are still white, so they have not developed it as according to be seen on desktop yet. I just saw it 2-3 months back, so I don't know about now. So yeah, so developers should not make such a website which is not responsive, that it should adapt to the screen size. This is where we talk about media query. Okay, I hope you got the problem here. I hope you got the problem here. Let's now see how we fix this. So I've already written the code for you because we are short of time. I will explain the code. Okay. I hope it's clear. Please let me know in the comments if there's any doubt. Okay. So very basic. I just used on the body the font and margin 0, padding 0, background color this. A container class I created, the parent class container. Then inside it, I created 3 boxes. What did I create? Three boxes, class features with the same class, because I want all those boxes to have exactly similar properties. That is why we use class. You cannot use same ID on different objects, different elements, but you can use same class if you want those elements to have the same properties. This is what I have used here. Inside the container, there are 3 boxes with the class features. I hope it's clear. Okay, all clear. So some properties to containers, some properties to features. Let's see what, okay, border radius was a missing property. So if you created the Instagram login page that I gave you yesterday, the submit button had like some curve in its border. This is when you use border radius, 8 pixel of the radius. The button will be a little curvier, okay? Medias, now this is for media query, how you add media query. Now, media query for screens with 768 pixels or smaller. What is this? I have said at keyframes was used in animations, at media is used in media query. Now, I am saying at media for the screen, screen is the entire screen. Max width should be 768 pixels. Now, this is very confusing for a beginner. When I say max width, please imagine it and assume it. Max width means as soon as the width reduces than 768, there will be a change. Some people get confused, like maxed width hai, that means after 768 pixels. No, lesser than 768 pixel. Just translate this statement in your mind. 768 pixels is the maximum width. That means lesser than that would have a change. Greater than that will have no change. So as soon as the screen size reduces to 768 pixel and lesser than that, some change should occur. What is the change? To the class features, I have said, I have given these things, background color, border color. You do not do this in media query, but for you I have done so that you can see that with the screen changing, with the screen size getting reduced to lesser than 768 pixel, there is a change. You can see and observe it. That's why I have added these features also. The main focus should be on, it should be here. When the features div was having width 30% of its parent, now it will have width 45% of its parent as soon as the screen size reduces from 768 pixel. Now let's see this as you are on an Amazon page. On your laptop, you see 5 products in line: shirt 1, shirt 2, shirt 3, shirt 4, shirt 5. Why? Because it has space, right? As soon as you move the same link to your mobile phones or your tablets, the items in one line get reduced to 2, or even lesser screen size than that, it would be reduced to 1 product only. So the next products comes down to that product. So such properties, when you want to change with respect to the screen size, this is where media query comes in handy. So I have said that if the screen size reduces than 768 pixel, the width, the items will take 45% of the parent width, not 30. Now the next card will move down because the width has been maximized. Clear so far? Is that clear so far? How many people are there in the meeting? Okay, yes, thank you. Okay, it's 63 participants. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now, for phone screens, I have said, now as soon as it gets lesser than 480 pixels, my features property will occupy 90% of the width. That means now only one card will be on the screen, the rest of the cards will move down. Okay, let's see how it works. So here it is. When I move the screen, you can see it is very responsive with the screen size. Okay, I'm doing it wrong. Just a second. Now I will do it. You can see the size here, okay? Size of the screen, 1079. As soon as the size is less than 768 or whatever the number I gave, you will observe a change. Keep observing. We are close to 768. Keep observing. And here it changed. Okay, you might not observe that the width also increased because it's quite complex to observe it right now, because the screen size is also very respective to the boxes, because the screen size is also reducing constantly. But you saw the change. That means the media query is working. Then I go, it's very responsive. The boxes, the contents are still very intact. No content outside the boxes. The boxes are looking fine with respect to the screen. And then you can see now below 244 pixels, it's not necessary to make it responsive, because in today's time, we do not have so smaller phones. So yeah, you can just stop at 400 pixel. Now, some or a lot of you can ask me one question, that it would be really complex to use so many media queries in our websites. Did you get this question in your mind? Like when you create a website, you are going to use unlimited divs, unlimited elements. कब तक उनको set करते फिरोगे on the screen, right? Did you get this question or it's clear? Yeah, I cannot see any answer on Zoom or on YouTube. Yes, okay, I got one yes, two yes. Okay, somebody is asking, explain again. So basically, responsiveness is when, according to the screen size, with respect to the screen size, your content is not reliable. Everything moves out of the boxes. Okay. So you might get this question that how many media queries am I going to use? This is where we talk about frameworks like Bootstrap. Now, if you all want, we might organize some other boot camps wherein I will teach you how we use Bootstrap. So basically, it is a framework. You just have to link it and you just have to use its inbuilt classes. For example, it has a class named container, very commonly used class. That class is already built responsively. You want a div, you can give it a class container. It is responsive to all the screens. Now, this is a very useful thing. Bootstrap, everybody uses this because you cannot humanly make a website responsive by adding media queries to each and every element that you are using. Okay? No, you cannot use one media query to give it to all classes. Just imagine your one container is 500 pixel and the other container is 200 pixel. Can you give same media query to it? You cannot. Can you say ki after less than 760 pixels, you take 100% of the size? Now it will be so huge on phone screen that every content would be popping out. This is the sole reason we use frameworks like Bootstrap. I hope it's clear. Okay. Now I think we can just jump on to explain properties used to do it. I'm sorry, what do you mean by properties? Every property can be put here. Every property. You want your color to change after this font size, it can be changed. You want, you want that after this, you want your parent to, now you will say अभी तक it was row wise, right? It was aligned row wise. Now flex direction column कर दो. Flex direction column. As soon as the screen size reduces to 500, parent को बोल दो now say flex direction column. It will align its items in columns, just like the cards in Amazon that I gave you an example about. I hope it's clear now. Let's move on to the practical part for today. Like, okay. Clear? Can I move forward? Now, this is what I want you to create. The website, the web page, the landing page. How do we do this? And I have not practiced this at home. I have not been in practice of HTML and CSS for a long time now. So I want you to see my approach of how I create it, how I approach the problem, and how I make it really, organized so that I don't mess up with the divs and flexibilities. Okay. Let's create. So I have this image. Let's take this here in a separate tab, and this is what I have to create. So first of all, I will explain you the logic. Okay. As a developer, what I will do is, first of all, okay, responsiveness you might have observed in navigation bars also. When you're on laptop, all these options are available. But as soon as you switch to phone, there is this toggle bar. You click it, and then all the options appear, yeah, in the breadcrumbs. This is how you do it. This is why responsiveness is used. So if I have to create this, the first approach that I will use is I will create a div for this entire page, for one page. I will give it height 100%, width 100%, not percent, because now it will say percent of what? So height 100 VH, width 100 VW, or width 100% will work. Okay, I think it's clear. Now I will say this is my first child of this div. This is my second child of this div. This is my third child. I want you to focus on the approach. This will be so bad at drawing. This is the first child. This is the second child. This entire would be the third child of the parent div. I hope I'm clear so far. VHVW I explained yesterday, Dhanush. VH is viewport height. Whatever the screen size is, it will take 100. 100 VH means 100% of the screen size. If you give 90 VH, 90% of the screen size. Very responsive property, because VH means according to the screen size. Okay. So far I have explained that my approach would be to make a div which is entire page. Then this would be the first child, this would be the second child, this would be the third child. Then this navigation bar, to the first child I will give height about 20%, because to the parent, with respect to the parent, it will take 20 to 30% height, and width I will give 100%. Then if you notice, I will make another 2 children inside the child 1. Please try to understand 2 children. Children number 1, child number 2, child 1, child 2, inside the first child of the parent div. This might look complex, but when you know how to have a logical approach to the problem, it's very organized and very easy. Okay? So this was the first child. I will explain it again, what I said. My approach would be to have this entire page as the parent. In this parent, I will have 1 child, 2 child, and 3, third child. To the first child, I will again give 2 children, 1 and 2. I hope I'm clear. Yeah, this is what I'm going to teach you. How will you change right side icons to single icon? This is the child 1, this is child 2. Now this will have multiple children which will have display property of a line item. Sorry, what was the property that I forgot? Abhi? Direction. Flex direction, we will say row. Simple. No, it's column. Flex direction column will be used here. Now, I hope I'm clear so far. Okay. Am I clear? Okay. Yes. Okay. Now, secondly, I will approach this child of the parent div, and I will create 3 children again in it. And don't forget to give borders. This will be very helpful while creating, and then at last you can remove the borders. Also, here I will have to give responsive to each and every div. This is why we used classes of Bootstrap, okay? But because I have not taught you Bootstrap yet, if you want, we can meet soon. This is first, second, and this is the third child, okay? You can explore Bootstrap on your own as well if you want to. Very easy to use, direct code, it's easy. So there are 3 children inside this div, which will be aligned row-wise. Very simple. And I will give a background image to div 2. You can see it's very easy. It looks complex, but when you approach it logically, it's very easy. Then to the third child, again 3 children. And to this, again 3 children, the subtitle, the heading, and the content, which are aligned row-wise. Display flex, the most used property in CSS. Let's try to create something like this. A structure I will try to create at least by 8 or 8.5 maybe. So let's see how we approach to this problem. Day 3, we will create the web page dot and also practice using external HTML. For now, I'm using internal, but you can start using external. Okay, and I will say first landing page. And so what was the approach? What was the approach? An entire div, okay? Certification link, okay, the team will send it shortly. It will be there in the all-in-one documentation, Priyanshi, if you want. Okay, I hope it's clear so far. YouTube has a lot more yeses than Zoom. Okay. Okay. So what did I say? Somebody's doubt has come in out of context, but how do Figma designing and HTML CSS code go hand in hand? A designer can design out of created inputs and may not follow the required code structuring in HTML. Just about. So basically, if you, I just mentioned it yesterday also, if you're a creative person, start designing first. And if your design standouts, because like people, underestimate this profession UI UX designing, but generally what happens is the same thought that I mentioned yesterday. Like if you can go to ChatGPT, you can ask for the entire code of a basic form, login form, etc., etc. How will you explain the design to ChatGPT? I want this design. ChatGPT cannot be that creative with designs. You can be. Who is ultimately going to explain the designs? You. So if you're that creative, you can go for US UX designing, and with that, along with that, if you're good with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you can start developing the same design that you created. Easy. Okay, I hope I cleared your doubt. And it's fun. HTML, CSS is a lot fun to do, and I think the best start for a developer or any person in coding, the best start you can opt for is web development. It actually, awakens that excitement inside of you. So you can go for it. You should. Okay, we were trying to create that web page. Let's get into that. I need the parent div. Okay, so let's say div dot parent, and let's give it some properties. Oh, sorry, style tag. Odd. Div dot parent, and then style tag, and then I'll say that okay, to the parent div, the height should be 100 VH and the width should be 100%, and I will give it a border. And background color, background image दे देते हैं इसको, ठीक है, एक background image दे देते हैं, And URL, this is like if we have any image in this specific folder, we do have, no, not this one. We do not have any image here. Okay, let's give it a background color for now. We're very short of time. We can make it interactive. You can make it interactive on your own also, okay? Any doubt? Any doubt so far? Okay, no. Okay, let's get started. So yeah, this is my div. Margin padding 0 दे देते हैं universally. Okay, and then yeah, this is my screen. Now what was the approach? Width 100 VH, who gave? I gave width 100%. Dhanush, I did not give width 100 VH. 100 VW you can give, but it will scroll a bit to the left because width 100 VH takes a little bit extra width because it's margin from left. Maybe it will work. Let's see. But I like to give it 100% only. Yeah, it will give a scroll bar by default. This is the problem with width 100 VW. Okay. So you can skip it. You can use 100% directly. It works always. Okay, so this is my parent div. What was my second approach? Now I want to create 3 children for this div. Let's create. I will say div dot child dollar. This is a shortcut into 3 children, right? So it will give 3 classes, child 1, child 2, and child 3. And let's give, and there's this short property. If I do it right, it's like this: parent greater than star. I hope it works. Okay, this is basically used to give a common property to all the children of the parent, to all the children with different class names. That doesn't work, that doesn't matter. So different class names. I want to give, I hope it works, I want to give it a border, 2 pixel solid, say blue. Yeah, it did work. Okay, so now it looks like blue because अभी कुछ भी नहीं डाला है हमने, बस children create कर दिए. So to all the children, it gave a border because it's just a border. I have not given any content inside the child. So now I will give child 1. I hope there's no doubt so far. I just want you to know, observe the approach, how you approach the web pages. Organization, basically. Now you can see 3 children. Can you see? Yes, 1, yes. Yeah, can you see? No doubt, got it. Okay. So now I created 3 children. Now to the first child, what was the approach? I will give some percentage of height, okay? Let's say I will give 30% of height to child 1. So I will give 30% of height to child 1. Height is 30%. And to child 2, I will give height as, let's give it 100 का है ना, so let's keep it 30, 60 and 10, or maybe 30, 40, and let's give it 40. How much is left now? 30% more. Okay, so to child 3, I will give, oh, is something wrong? No, I will give height as 30%. This calculation is up to you. Okay, so this is how now the screen looks like. So I have made a better approach. These 3 child are created. Actually, 20% looks a huge. Is it zoomed in? No, 20% looks a lot. Let's keep it to 5%. Okay. Let's keep it to 5% of the total height. Yeah, that looks fine. And to child 2 and 3, let's increase the height. To child 2, let's do it 60. And to this, let's do it 50. Yeah, I think, no, that's more than 100. Let's do it 40 and 50. Yeah, that's fine. Now I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear. Yes, okay. Now let's move on to our navigation bar. What was the approach again? To the navigation bar, I will give 2 children. You could have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all together, but why did not I do it? Because then it would have been difficult to arrange these. Now, if this is separated, it will be easy to arrange this as a one parent. Okay, so 2 children only. Abhi ke liye 2 children. So now let's remove these texts. It was just to make you clear what we are doing. Then done. Okay, now to child 1, I will give 2 children, right? So let's say div dot, what should I name it? Div 1, div 2, div 1, div this into 2. Okay, div 1 and div 2. So first child and second child, and let's give them some borders. Dot div 1 border 2 pixels solid green and background color aqua, and let's give it some height. तो ये 100% ही ले रहे हैं अपने parent से, लेकिन width they are taking really small. So let's say width is 30% of the parent. Okay, and div 2 will take more width because it's a larger element. But see, this is div 2, right? Div 2 will take a lot of width. So to give div 2, we will give about, I think, 50%. Okay, let's see. Border, it's 8.1. Okay, I will just quickly wrap this. Pixel solid yellow and same properties. Same properties. It's clear, okay. Yeah, and width I will give 50, okay. So now you can see this is my child 1, this is child 2. Now what is happening? By default, it will align it row wise. I do not want that. So now I will give the power to the parent, which is who is the parent of div 1 and div 2? Quickly answer me in the comments. Who is the parent of div 1 and div 2? Waiting for your comments. Child 1. Very good. Child 1 is the parent of div 1 and div 2. So to child 1, I will give this property that please display your items have the flexibility property. Sorry, only flex. Display flex. I just forget that property again and again. What is the property? Justify contents, first of all. Center. What is the property? Please tell me the property. No, position absolute is not the property. Somebody in YouTube told me that property. I again forgot. Align items? No. Display property for aligning the items in rows. Flex direction, yeah. Thank you, Lavanya, I guess. I don't know why do I keep forgetting this property. Flex direction. So basically I want it column reverse. If you do the last element will be in first. Okay. So I want align items, say column, and then it will align its items in columns. I want it to be aligned in rows. So let's align it in rows, and here they are aligned in rows. I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear. And then you can also use this property. Yes, thank you. Justify content. Justify content. I will say space between, because yeah, space around is also correct option, because now these are the elements. So this is this is taking a lot of width. This is just a logo, so I will decrease the width of div1. Okay, I want div1 to take only 5% of the width. Yeah, only 5% of the width. Yeah, here I will put the logo. Yeah, okay, thank you. Here I will put the logo. Here I will put the other children that I just showed. Yeah, okay. I'm reading your comments constantly. If you have any doubt, yeah, flex direction. Thank you. At least you will remember it now. That if she was forgetting, I will remember it. Flex direction row. Okay, now to the what was the approach? To second child of this div1, to sorry, child one. This child, I want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other elements. Okay, so 5 other children. So to div1, I will have dot, what should I name? Naming is a very big complex thing, no? Let's name it sub child this, and into how many did I need? I think 5 I needed. Subchild 1, subchild 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just to all the child, let's just directly give borders. So div1 greater than greater greater than asterisk. All the children of div1, I want them to have height 100%, width let's say 2% of the width, no 10%. It had 100% width, so I have 5, so I can give 20% to each, 20% width, and border 2 pixels solid white. Any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? No, okay, thank you. So to div1, I give this border. Let's see how it's doing now. Yeah, these are the child. Oh, to the wrong div I gave it. I think it's to the div2. Yeah, it's to the div2. Let's move it. This is the benefit of using borders and colors. So you know the structure very well. Let's do this div2. Now here are the elements. Now again, I will give this property to my parent that please display your items in row wise, display your items. So flex direction, this time I remember it, flex direction row. Okay, so now it aligned its item row wise. Now inside of this, you can again use div as many divs as you want. Okay, just a second, somebody's there in the waiting room. Yeah, then the second approach was this div. Now I think you will be able to do it now. It's 3 children again inside this div. First, second, third. To the first child, give a heading. To the second child, give some content. To the third child, you will give a button, and they are aligned column wise. By default, it is always aligned column wise. Simple. Let's do the same classes, okay? To child 2 also. Yeah. But now I'll say that, okay, to have the same classes, but I'll say that to, what class am I working on right now? I am working on child 2, right? So I will say to child 2 that please, no, this is not used. For child 2, I'll say display flex and flex direction, make it column wise. Okay, column. By default, it's column. Okay, let's see, what did we miss? Div 1, div 2, subchild 1. Where did I mention subchild? Okay, I did not give any property. Okay, got it. Did not give any property to let's create this on our own. I did not give any property. So let's do this. So to child, inside child 2, I want 3. Okay, 3 divs. So let's say div, let's give 3 divs. Div 1, div 2, and div 3. And to all the children of div of child 2, to all the children of child 2, I want, no, not child 2, to all the children of child 2. Okay, I want background color as crimson. Okay, so these are the childs, and let's give them some borders. Border 2 pixels solid white. Okay. So yeah, these are the childs. Now, what do I want? I want these to be at the center. So to child 2, I will say that, okay, have the power. Display flex, justify content in the center. So it will take its content to the center. Now, this is how I want the divs to be. So now you will give some height and width to the children div, and then you will give the content to them. Like here are the child divs, right? So div 1, say lorem 2. Okay, lorem 2. And to div 2, you gave some 20 words content. Just a second. Format document. Close this. And to div 3, I will give, it's very small, so 1 word. Okay, it's just lorem dot. So yeah, now they are aligned this. I want them to be aligned like this. So I will say to my child 2 that please give flex direction as I want it column wise. Yeah, I wanted it column wise. Here it is. I hope it's clear. Reading your comments, please tell me, is it clear? I think we will now wrap up the session very quickly. Now to the third child, again, very simple. Just make 3 more children and then align them row-wise. Then inside these 3 children, again make 3 children and then align them column-wise, and then keep using divs. This is how you will easily create this web page. This is very easy landing page, and you can, I will share some websites wherein you can get some sample templates also. Some templates also, so that you can create those designs. Okay, any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? Gajendra is saying make take your time to make it completely. Are you sure? Is everybody okay if I take 10 more minutes to make it completely? Like, I'm not adding any image here. You can do it on your own. Are you okay if I complete the third also? But it's very easy. There's no issue. Like, okay, we will create this if you want. I will just say div, and I will give it some class. Like, what class should I give? It's cards, right? So card dollar into 3. 3 children I created, card 1, card 2, card 3. Card 1, card 2. There, people are facing certificate issues. card 1, card 2, card 3. And then here to all the children of div 3, I want the background color to be this blue. Let's see if it is. Yeah. What color did I give? Background color. Div 3 was the parent, but there is, I think, nothing. Child 3 was the parent, not div 3. Child 3 was the parent. Okay, yeah, so background color is given. Now I will give some border. 2 pixels solid white. And there you go. Now I think I don't want, yes, I want the elements to be aligned in a row. So just give that power to the parent, which is child 3. I will give this display flex direction row wise. Okay. So it aligned its element row wise. Now you give width and height to these elements. Let's give them some width and height to the children. Give, because there are 3, divide 100 by 3. Let's say we will give 30, 30 to each. Okay, it's quite easy to 30% to each. And there you go. And then you can also align them. थोड़ा सा increase कर लेना as per your calculation. Width, you can increase the width. Okay. And then what we need to space. Also you can give this property, justify content, space around. For now I will give space around so that it takes equal space from all the directions. So like this. Okay, if you want you can increase the width. That's it. That's how you will create the web page. I know it looks quite different from what we want to create, but this is the structure, right? You can always use this approach while creating web pages. I hope it's clear. We are going to end the session very soon. Thank you for the appreciation. Thank you. That's my pleasure. If I could easily explain something to you. I was also a beginner once, so I would not want you to face those problems again. Now, the only pro tip that I want to give you at last of this bootcamp, HTML CSS bootcamp, is do not jump on things. Try creating from scratch, from basic. Just take any web page, any template, and say to yourself that I want to create exact duplicate of this. Create exact duplicate of Amazon. The more you practice, the better you get. Okay, yeah, this entire code will be available on GitHub. On Drive, how should I share? Like that would be a zip folder. If you want, I can try. Anything you want to say? Like we are going to end the session. 3 days were amazing. I was glad that I could be a part of your coding journey from the beginning. Okay. I hope, like, I would consider this session a success if at least 20 people out of you guys are actually starting to create something after these 3 days. Create any landing page, create website. This would be the best start you can ever have. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being so patient. I explained everything that you need to start developing something. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I think you all understood better. I think you all can start developing now. It was great meeting you guys. If possible, we will create some bootstrap camps also if you want. And yeah, we will. I hope I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Keep creating, keep learning. Don't jump onto things. Be patient, be creative, and try to create something interactive. Okay. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.